Hi everybody, a quick little tutorial on using Google Forms for the example of asking parents to choose a time slot to set up a phone call during this learn at home period. And that's using an extension called FormRanger. Now FormRanger can be found under the add-ons option right here, and FormRanger should be right here. And I'm just going to walk you through what the setup is for this. Here's a simple Google form. You can add as many questions as you'd like, but I'm just going to show you the example using the one question. Um, Identify a question, so please select a time slot below. Now, instead of actually typing in the questions, what we're going to do is, or the answers, what we're going to do is we're going to populate those options in a spreadsheet. So what the best way to do that would be is I've just created a spreadsheet right here, and I've just started typing out some of the options right here. And in that spreadsheet, you're going to need to have three columns: an available heading, an options heading, and then a count. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do with those three. Options column, I want you to just type in the options that you'd like to use, or in this case, options for phone calls. So I've identified just some dates and times, and I'm just going to leave it at that right now. You can, again, do as little as you'd like with this. I'm going to give this spreadsheet a name, Form Ranger Sample. So that's it for the spreadsheet right now, is all we need. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the Google form, and I'm going to choose Form Ranger from the options or add-ons. And it's going to ask you to start. So that's all you have to do right now. It's going to do a little bit of work in the bottom right here. And essentially what you can do is, like it says in the description, you can populate multiple choice, drop down checkboxes, or grid questions from a column range listed in a sheet, which is what we're going to do in Octopus, but we don't use Octopus. So please select the time slot below. So every question that you have will have the option to choose a range to be populated from. So I'm going to populate it from a range. And now it's going to ask you to select a spreadsheet. So I'm going to choose new range on the top right, or in the, plus symbol with the circle. Got to go find that spreadsheet that I just made. It should pull up recent as the option. Yeah, there we go. So most recent Form Ranger. So it goes from sheet. Now it's going to ask you for the range. So the range that I want is in my first sheet, and a sheet in Google Sheets is these sheets at the bottom here. So this is just called sheet 1. And the column heading that I want to populate my answers with is the option, is the available options. Now I'm going to explain that to you in 1 second. And then choose next. And then I can name the range if I want. Time slots, sure. And I'm going to save and populate those questions. So what happens is it's going to do a little bit of thinking, and it's going to grab those options from that column. What you want to do is on auto repopulate the questions every time somebody submits a form, and that way, if somebody chooses a time, another person won't be able to. And as a backup, if you wanted to, you can have an update every hour as well. So now, because I only have one in there, now I'm going to go back and show you what you need to do in terms of, say, formulas for the spreadsheet. So what might make it better? Actually, no. The easiest thing to do is to go now to the Responses tab of your Google form. Now I'm going to create the spreadsheet where my responses would actually reside from the Google form. So I'm going to click on that, and oops. Take out of trash. Sorry about that. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to choose select response destination. So because I already have a spreadsheet, I want to choose where it's going to go. I want to create a new spreadsheet? No, because I already have one started. I'm going to choose my Form Ranger sample. This is the one I created. And again, it should choose the most recent. Yep. And there's a reason for this, and I'll show you that. So now let's go back to that spreadsheet. Now you'll notice that there's a sheet that we worked in, but also the form responses. Now we basically have to tell this spreadsheet, okay, we need you to calculate if somebody's chosen one of the time slots. So our options, these are the options that I want. The available column there's a formula here, and there's also a count option. So this is what we're going to work on right now. Little spreadsheet 101 formulas. So I want this sheet to count when somebody answers this question with this response. So the formula is called COUNTIF, and it's going to count if a condition happens. Open the bracket, and the range of where this answer is actually going to happen is in the spreadsheet answers, column C. So all of the answers coming in are going to go into a spreadsheet, column C, and we're just going to count if that happens. I'm not sure. Count. This is the range that it's going to look up. And what do we want to count? What's the criteria? Well, we want to count if it's actually equal to this cell. So now we're just going to close that up and click OK, because right now there is no 0. I am now going to copy this formula using the little handle here in the bottom right. Click and hold and drag it down for all of the options that I have. Nobody's chosen one of these answers yet. Now let's move over to the availability column. Now we have to tell the spreadsheet, only put something in this available column if nobody's chosen it yet. And the formula for that is, I'll just retype it here. So now it's another conditional statement. So if this number is greater than 0, meaning 1 or anything higher than that, then what we want to do is just put a space, or just 2 sets of double brackets here, or apostrophes. So that means if it's greater than 0, meaning it's not 0, then we can't have somebody else choose it. Otherwise, we want it to display the option of this right here. So if I close that up, because the count is 0, we want it to show up in our options list. And again, I'm going to copy that formula down for all of our options here. So now let's just take a look at what happens here if somebody were to complete this. Let's go back to our form. In FormRanger, because I did some work and nobody's responded yet, I'm going to update the question list so that the question answers are all up here, and it does that instantaneously right there. So that's a pretty cool little setup of using FormRanger, taking information from a spreadsheet. Now let's complete this form and see what happens. So I'm going to preview this form, and let's choose, let's say, the second option below, or third. I'm going to submit this, and let's see what happens. I've submitted that. My spreadsheet counts it as 1. Because it's greater than 0, it removes it from the available options. And now if I go back to my Google form, it has now removed it from that option. So that is a roundabout way, but a detailed way of setting up a Google form using FormRanger to limit the number of times somebody can choose an answer for multiple choice question. I hope that helps. Please contact me if you need further assistance. Thanks.